Right. What the fuck, Chris?
What?
You actually watched an anime. Go on, explain. What did you do?
I did. I did. I accidentally tripped and clicked on Netflix and accidentally watched an anime. I didn't mean to. All right. This is Dan's fault because if you listen to the tail end of the last episode, unless Dan edited it out because I haven't gone back to listen to it. I'll be honest.
Fine.
No. Good. Well, Dan, I said like, all right, if you think this show is that good, then I'll give it a watch. And I did, like, immediately after we finished recording last week. I just booted it up. I booted up Cyberpunk Edgerunners and just watched the whole thing in one go. Which sounds like it would take quite a while to do that, but there's only 10 episodes and they're like 20 minutes each, so it's only like 2.5 hours really. So no real longer than a film. And yeah, it was all right. The animation is very fluid and very nice. There wasn't. I don't get as carried away as like the animes you guys do, and I did like it, but I won't watch it again. I thought it was fine. There's some like tropes that I've seen before, like similar plot points, but it's very well animated, and I did like the general story. I did think it was a little bit bare bones. It's like yeah, I've seen this kind of underdog sort of story, falls in with a bad crowd kind of thing. I don't know. What's something I can compare it to? Baby Driver, perhaps? Something like that. I don't know why that jumps to mind. Kind of, yeah, it is a bit, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty decent. If you like animes and cyberpunk and edges. Okay, but probably maybe not that last one so much. But yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I recommend it. I recommend it for a binge watch.
To be honest, I do think I gave maybe a bit of higher praise, but I'm a big Studio Trigger fan, and I think as a Studio Trigger fan, it just hit all the right boxes from what they deliver. I think that's why I love it so much, but I think someone like you, maybe not. And I completely get where you're coming from.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was decent. It was thoroughly entertaining. It was a visual joy to watch.
Oh, yeah.
As I say, I just thought the plot was pretty much straightforward enough. Like, it didn't really bring anything new to the table.
Oh, no. I think I watched a video that even said that. Yeah, it's not like the most groundbreaking story. You've seen it so many times, but it's just the way it all comes together is pretty fantastic.
You know what I think would do, like a show like this? What would work, but I think it'd have to be live action, not anime, and that'll be like the Deus Ex games.
Yeah.
Series based on that, because that does a very similar thing. The whole cybernetics, people with implants thing.
I read it probably both very similar, even like gameplay wise.
I still haven't played Cyberpunk, so I can't confirm.
I watched a clip of Cyberpunk the other day, and it was the Adam Smasher fight. I actually watched that, and it was someone who'd made basically built their character to be David Martinez, and then went and fought Adam Smasher.
I didn't realise it was actually like from the game. Like I thought like it was set in the same universe, so I didn't realise it had any characters from the game in it.
Oh no. Well, Adam Smasher is the only character from the game who's in it. Every other character is original. But like all the cybernetics in Cyberpunk that like David Martinez has in the show, you can put on your character. So they've just done that. They put on the Santa Vista, whatever it's called, in the anime. So they put that on and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
They didn't seem to struggle on the fight. So I was like, oh, fair enough. It's quite
so we can only conclude that David's actually a bit crap at playing Cyberpunk.
Probably, who knows?
Or he's got it on the hard mode difficulty.
It was funny, the guy the video I watched at the end, by spoilers for Cyberpunk, although none of us have even played it, but they killed Adam Smasher by using Rebecca's guns from the anime, because with the anime they did a whole Cyberpunk Edgerunners update, and you can get like Rebecca's guns and a whole lot of other stuff.
What did I say in our group chat for anyone that's watched the show? It's like Adam Smasher smashed Rebecca more than David smashed Lucy.
Fucking hell. Victory Achieved podcast, a video game podcast. I am Dan, and I'm with Brandon and Chris.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, everybody.
Well then, gentlemen, this is episode 40.
40? We're at the midlife crisis point now. We've actually reached 40.
Yeah, I was looking today at where we're going to be episode-wise for the end of this year. I think we're going to be like episode 42, 43-ish. Something like that. I was like, oh, that's, we've done quite a few episodes now. Fucking hell.
I'm going to be even more concerned when we reach 3 digits, but I mean, the fact that we've reached 40 is quite something.
Did you ever
80 weeks of recording.
Did you guys ever think we'll get here?
Oh, on my chair.
So, yes. We talk shit every fortnight. So, it's just basically just us chatting shit every 2 weeks, basically.
And you lovely people listen to us. Thank you.
Isn't it?
I know we normally say thank you at the end of the episodes, but thank you. We've had a lot of listens in the past 2 weeks. It's really nice. We're at over 1,000 plays now. Well, far over that now. We've been over that for a while. It's not just been this past week. No, we've been over that for a good while.
Yep, because now on Anchor, it just doesn't tell me the exact number. It just says 1.1k total plays.
It does say how the exact amount. But you got to go on.
1,121 if I go further into the analytics.
Yeah. Don't say it exactly, Brandon. For fuck's sake.
It's still it's just an impressive number. That's what I'm getting at. It's an impressive number.
Well, seeing as our lovely listeners like to hear us talk shit about video games, Chris.
Hello. On the contrary, the first game I'm going to talk about today, I'm not going to talk shit out. I'm going to give it some praise. Quite a lot of praise. So one of the recent games I've played, and this is going to sound like a catchphrase from me, but it's on Game Pass. But it is nice that it's on there. So I seen this. I seen a fellow Twitch streamer play it. I thought, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, shout out to Dracoma on Twitch, by the way. I was watching play it, because without him I probably wouldn't have seen it. But yes, I played a little game called Ghost Song, and Ghost Song is basically a Metroidvania, but with way more emphasis on the Metroid side of it. It plays an awful lot like your classic Metroid, but with the 360-degree aiming, more akin to Metroid Dread.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just got a lot of praise for this game. It does everything quite well. There wasn't really much I disliked about it. The only thing I probably have a slight nitpick with is the character's mobility speed. I think it could have sped up. It's more noticeable towards the tail end of the game where you're just trying to get from A to B and you've got quite a large map and you're going, oh bloody hell, I've got to get from here to here. But it's not too bad. So Ghost Song, let's say 2D Metroidvania style type game. But as an added twist, it's also got an experience system. So you kill aliens like you normally would, but instead of them shooting out your purple or orange orbs like you expect in Metroid, they give you experience orbs instead. And you can use these to level up your character at save points. But there's only 3 things you can level up, which is quite good because it just streamlines it. And it basically boils down to, do you want more health? Do you want more gunfire power? Or do you want more melee damage? So like Souls, there are several weapons you can find amongst the game. There's not an awful lot. I think there's about 8 or so different melee type weapons you can find. All of them act very differently though. So, for example, you start off with just your basic point-blank melee range where you just sort of bash them with your blaster arm, which is quite close to how Metroid plays, with the melee combat counter system, minus the counter. But then you get things later on what they call a pain wheel. Basically a giant yo-yo. Think the whirly jig from Bloodborne, but in yo-yo form. It's pretty cool. On top of that, when it comes to your ranged weapons, you have a shit ton to find. Some you need for progression. Other ones, not so much. You can just opt. And these are your optional firepower. Because like Souls, you've also got a stamina meter that Metroid doesn't have. And this doubles as your running and your melee attack bar. And there's also a special bar which you use for essentially ammo. But unlike Metroid, where you have to collect ammo, it's kind of like tied to this sort of ammo bar. So everything's more like a cooldown than anything else, which is I kind of like, because you don't have to go around hunting for ammo. There's nothing worse than like in Metroid when you get into a door and you just can't open because you're missing like one or two missiles. It's infuriating, but this kind of negates this problem, and you can basically just get more ammo by upping your like gun stats, and your melee stat also attributes to your stamina bar. So yeah, there's quite a variety in different ways you can do your build or loadout. The currency you find as well, like your XP, it's like doubles up as currency, because there's a couple of shops in the game where you can buy some like permanent upgrades. And I'd say the currency system kind of feels more like Hollow Knight than anything else, because not only do you have different weapons you can find, you can also find different modules, which are essentially just charms from Hollow Knight. And the higher leveler is, the more you can equip. So it takes a bit from every pie. So none of its gameplay styles are like unique to Ghost Song, but it takes the things that work in all the other games and meshes them together, and they all work well, quite well. The music's good. I wouldn't say like it's not like a banging soundtrack. It's not like full of guitars or anything like that. It's more like ambient sounds, like ambient music. But some of it's pretty creepy. And some of it borders on like kind of like John Carpenter music. I swear there's one place I was going into and I was like, bloody hell, this sounds like the soundtrack to The Thing or something like that. And it helps, like the area in particular I was thinking of is quite a dark area and it's a bit creepy. So it's like, even for a 2D like side-scrolling game, it like puts you on your toes a little bit. Yeah. There are like NPC quests as well, again akin to Dark Souls. Like you talk to them, you exhaust the dialogue. Although if you're gonna go for like 100% completion, you might need a guide, because they do the thing like they do in Dark Souls, like the NPCs like disappear and then appear in different places, but you've got to like scour the map to find them, and you don't know that they've buggered off somewhere else. They just do. So you might like go back to an early game. In fact, some of them I just found purely by accident. I was just going from A to B, just backtracking, trying to find stuff, and then there were just people there. I was like, what are you doing here? But then they gave me stuff. I was like, oh, never mind. I'm happy with that. Yeah, carry on. Yeah, all in all, I think it took me about 12 hours to beat, give or take. I'm told there's a couple of endings to get, and I think I got the better of two endings. I know there was a couple of bits I missed out on, but I don't think it's all doable in one playthrough. You know, I have to do like one thing or another. In fact, there's one trophy in particular that I might try and do, where you just try and beat the game without dying. I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet. But yeah, I've really enjoyed my time with Ghost Song. I had a bloody good time playing it, and I do highly recommend it. So if you like Souls, if you like Metroid, yeah, give it a go. You got nothing to lose. It's a really good game. It's not like Game of the Year, but it's certainly up there.
The that character design for your player character looks really cool.
Yes. There's the sort of a theme, like whether like they're human, they're a robot, because like they're unsure, and you can talk to like other robots and they sort of recognize you as a sort of spaceship, and you're like, I'm not a ship. It's like, well, what are you? I don't know. But yeah, the dialogue between other characters and the plots is pretty good as well. They do a nice thing, like there's a bit of voice acting and it's all good, but there's not like a ton of it. It's like normally when you speak to people, it's just text boxes, but when they have finished talking to you, like when they've exhausted the dialogue, they'll have like a unique spoken outline, which is good because it basically gives you the prompt to say right, that's it, piss off. Yeah, it's really good. It's a solid 9 out of 10. As I say, probably the only thing is just the mobility later on, just trying to get from A to B, especially if you're just like scouring the map like I do, trying to find everything. But it's not game breaking or anything like that.
It doesn't, like when you're in combat, it's just moving across the world.
Yeah, it literally is just like going through big rooms, like you've gone through like lots of times. So there is a fair bit of backtracking, but sometimes the rooms do change up a bit. They don't stay the same for like the entirety of the game. Like if you progress, like new enemies appear, that kind of thing. So it keeps it fresh.
Nice one. Like I might check it out. I've seen it's on Switch, so I could potentially get it.
Yes, I think it might appeal to quite a lot of people, but it seems to. I don't know how it's gone because I've not really seen a lot of people talk about it. But the few people I have seen speak about it, I've given it fairly high praise.
Just when I googled it now, it had a whole load of high reviews, so must be praised well.
Yeah, on Steam, it's just branded as very positive rather than overwhelmingly positive. It's got a 79 on Metacritic. I'm just looking at some of the reviews now. Everyone says good atmosphere, good characters, good art style and everything. But some people say unfinished story or too much. Yeah, like the one comment here is like too much backtracking and some annoying mechanics.
I never found any mechanics annoying per se.
I know, but that's what I'm a bit confused about. It's like, how can, apart from Scorn, what other mechanics can be quite bad?
I know we're so used to annoying mechanics that it like little nitpicks here and there don't seem to matter all that much. After
This is
some
the
of
fact that when I was
bullshit.
scrolling through Ghost Song, it came like Scorn was on my more like this list, and I was like, how are you still £32?
You know what's funny? Every podcast I've heard since, like, we did our podcast where we spoke about Scorn, and then every podcast after, I've heard people talk about Scorn, and they've been far more positive than we were, or than you were, Chris. And so it was really,
Funny
it was
that.
really kind of interesting because I'd never heard of it until you mentioned it, and I was like, and then I looked at it, and I was like, what? And then every other podcast, it's like, oh, well, it's quite interesting. I don't think any of them are saying it's a great game, like a good game, but I think they're more interested in some of the other stuff with it.
Well, I think that's a good way to sum it up. Like, if people are saying that about Scorn, they're sort of saying it's interesting. It's like, yeah, it's interesting. It's nice to look at. Well, if you like that kind of thing.
That's
Otherwise,
literally all it's got, though.
that's all it's got. Yeah, I don't really enjoy the game mechanics at all. But I've done that. We've done that with you. I tell you what, while I'm keeping the ball rolling, like talking about bullshit mechanics, I was going to talk about another game, but I think it leads nicely onto that. Speaking of this bullshit, have you guys played a game called Deathloop?
No, but I know all about. I've heard many podcasts talk about Deathloop, so I know
Alright.
I know of it.
I've got to ask them before I give my 2 cents. What did they say about it? 'Cause I've not really heard much said about this one till I played it.
On the podcast I heard, like they enjoyed it. It was very had like an arcadey feel, a bit like Time Splitters. But I think some of the gripes were more in terms of like with like getting the kills, and that initially it seems. Well, I don't know how much you played. I kind of don't want to finish this sentence. If I don't know how much you played, so. Unless you finished it.
No, nowhere close.
Yeah.
It pissed me off too much.
Oh, what are you dropping it already? Is that what's going to?
Yeah, I dropped it. Definitely right. It seems weird because there was a lot of hype around this, like when it was like being launched, and then it came out, and then like nobody seemed to talk about it. It like came out, and then I was like, what happened? Why is no one talking about it? And I think I've stumbled across why. So
That is.
started playing it. I started playing it twice. Second time I started streaming it, and I got a bit further in the second time. So Deathloop, it's to give a bit of summary. Deathloop is a first-person shooter made by Arcane Studios. It's the same developers behind Dishonored 2, and you can tell when you're playing it because by golly, governor, I'd have a lot of assets ripped straight from it. Like the metal shutters down doors, it's like, yeah, this is Dishonored. Like the health bar, it's like, this is exactly the bloody same. They've just recycled lots of stuff. And it's very, very, very noticeable. So, yeah, the old idea is you wake up as a character called Colt on a like little beach sort of seaside town. And it's essentially Groundhog Day. Like you die, you come back again, and you sort of relive the same day over and over, and you've got to like kill like so many like high priority targets in like a day to like, sort of like break the loop, as it were. I didn't get anywhere near as far as that. So I started playing it for a bit on my own. I thought, yeah, this seems like it might be all right. Started playing it and got like 3 hours in, and it pissed me off so much that I had it scheduled to stream it way more. And yeah, I redid my entire schedule. It's like, yeah, this game. So there's an emphasis on like exploration, like in your little sandbox things, like just like akin to like Dishonored or I don't know, maybe like Deus Ex, or maybe a little bit like Fallout Light, where you sort of explore your surroundings, you find new weapons, you find upgrade materials, which you put into slots, and you have like so many. And the idea is like between missions, you like select your loadout that you like and then go into the new mission. Now, what the game didn't tell me is like between missions for a bit, I kept all my loadout and that was fine. I had all my bits. But then it reached a certain point in the game where like you start from like day one again, as you'd expect. And it just takes away everything. You start with absolutely nothing. And that pissed me off to a monumental degree. And I was stressed, like, when I was playing it. I wasn't doing too much exploration because I didn't know how big the game was. I didn't want to get bogged down, keep it boring by like poking in every nook and cranny. So I kept it pretty streamlined. And I'm really glad I did, because if I'd gone out my way to search every nook and cranny to find all these collectibles and that, only to have them taken away from me, that would have blown my gasket something fierce. And it was bad enough as it was. I was just like, you should have seen the look of shock on my face when I was streaming. I was just like, what? Where's all my stuff? Where's it gone? It's like, you keep nothing. It's like, and I think that alone is probably why nobody talks about it, because I don't know if everyone else had that same feeling I did. It's like,
I think you can like get like certain upgrades so you can kind of keep stuff when you die or when you reset.
well, yes, but it's kind of like a soft reset. It's not permanent. It's not permanent. Like once you reach a certain threshold, it just like stops. Because that's how I thought it was. Because I thought so long as I if I find the thing and finish the mission, and get to the end, and because it's like a sort of intermittent screen. I thought so long as I get to that point, it's like banked, and then I can just choose my loadout, and it does that for like a few missions. And it's like, if it stays like that, that's fine. I don't mind. If I have to like pick and choose what I'm going to use, that's fine. But no, it just took everything away. And yeah, even the people watching was like, you what? That's bullshit. It's like, yeah, yes it is. So I got to that point. It's like, yeah, I ain't continuing with this. You can keep that one. I was very, very disappointed. So if you want to play Deathloop, just play Dishonored instead. Dishonored does the same thing, like the same sort of upgrade system, except you get to keep things. It's much better. It doesn't. Imagine if you just like played Dishonored, like did a couple of missions, and then the game just went, yeah, now you've got nothing. Go.
I think like one of the things I heard on podcasts that spoke about Deathloop is that because the aim of the game is to kill, is it 9 people?
Yeah, you gotta like work out all their patterns and like kill them in a certain way. Yeah,
but
I didn't even get that far.
Initially, it seemed like you can kill them in any order, but the more you play, the more you realize you can kill some earlier and do them differently, but there is a certain order to kill all 9 of them that you want to do, and so the fact that there isn't like multiple ways to kill all nine of them in a run. There's basically one set run to kill all 9, and you have to work out that one set run. Is a bit shit, I guess. It just doesn't leave much in the way of like experimenting, trying to kill them all in different ways and in a different pattern. It's just like you need to kill. Here's the 9 of them. You can kill them in any order, but to actually do it or kill all 9 of them, there is a certain order, and you're playing the game to work out what the actual order to kill all 9 of them. I don't know, that seems a bit meh. It would have been cool if there were multiple ways or multiple especially like an order, multiple orders of killing them all.
I suppose if you get like past the initial tutorial, if you know like the route to kill everyone already off, I wonder if it might be any good for speed running, like just taking it from that point, just like see how quick you can do them all. But even then, I'm not sure about that. On paper, it sounds like it might be enough. It's like try and kill all 9 in like under like 30 minutes or something. But yeah, but the game's not really structured like that. I mean, if you're trying to work out how to kill people like efficiently, you'd probably be better off with a game like Super Hot. Yeah, don't recommend. I wanted to like it, but because I've enjoyed Arcane's other works, but not this one. Yeah, so I do wonder if that's why people went silent on it, because it just sort of came out to like no fanfare after some build up and advertising. Even when the PS5 were coming out, it was like one of the flagship ones. It's like Deathloop's coming out, and everyone was like, "What's Deathloop?"
I know. It's. You say it, you're like, well, it's them, so you kind of. But IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, so.
Who takes any attention to IGN?
I know. To be fair,
it's either 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or 7 out of 10, and that's it.
To be fair, they gave it a 10 out of 10 today, actually, to a game.
Seen that. I can't remember the name of it. I know the one you're on about. One that looks like like sort of medieval.
Yeah, medieval
things.
Yeah,
Afaris or something like that.
Pentiment.
Pentiment, that's the one.
Yeah, they gave it a 10 out of 10 for that.
Well, I'm gonna have to check that one out because it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah. But I have actually been playing a game released this year in the year 2022. I've been playing Tunic, which came out really early this year and came out on the Switch the other month. enough, and I decided to finally cave and buy it. And I've played about 3 hours, and I'm really liking it so far. It's basically like Link's Awakening crossed with Dark Souls combat.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair summary.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. It took me. I've only just found my shield, but now I'm happy. I can now block attacks instead of just rolling out the way of them all.
I was going to say, if it's playing like Dark Souls, you don't need a shield.
This game you kind of do because of how the level designs are.
But it's got.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's got like you know how those old school instruction manuals, like when you bought games like PS1, GameCube, PS2, you had like the instruction manual, and it like you in Tunic you get like some that in game, but it's all in a different language, like an in-game language. So you got to decipher it, and you get like more pages as you go along. It's quite cool. But I kind of don't know what half the stuff does. And just before we start recording, as Brandon can definitely back me up, I literally went into a shop and thought it was a boss, and my Switch was vibrating like a fucker, and I was like, what the hell is going on right now? But I'm like I said, I've only played 3 hours, quite enjoying it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep playing it and see where it all goes.
Yeah, I have played Tunic for a bit. In fact, I've started playing it twice. But I got to pretty much the same point you got to, like getting the shield, and I just haven't carried on playing it. It just didn't really grab me all that much. I think it's just like the isometric style. I'm not like a big fan of games like that. So,
yeah.
But I played it for a bit. It seems fine. It just didn't grab me all that much. So I just haven't gone back to it. Yeah.
I've got a bit of a question about it, because quite often for games you can sort of get a rough idea of, why they're named said way. So why is it called Tunic?
Like, is the character wears a tunic?
Yeah.
The character wears a tunic like Zelda. Sorry, like Link.
He literally looks like Link, but he's a fox. Near enough. Even the sword and shield is like as if it's come from Zelda.
Yeah, I noticed that straight away as well.
Yeah, even the manual that you described, like in game, looks very much like the original Legend of Zelda and the NES manual.
Yeah.
Like the same artwork.
It's got I think it's got a lot of charm, Tunic, and the music is so good. Like I said, like last night was when I started it, and I gave myself 2 hours to have a good play on it, and I was just vibing to that music as I was playing it. It was so good. But I'm gonna play as much as I can of it. I'm enjoying it. But
good.
Yeah.
You played anything, Brendan?
Well, I've not actually played anything new. All I've really been doing. Oh God, I've got a cough.
You're on a moment.
Well, yeah. So yeah, as I said, I've not played anything new, but I have recently seen a game trailer, which, as I described to you lads, it gave me a stiffy. And that's a game trailer called Wolong Fallen Dynasty. So it's made by Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja. And upon watching the gameplay trailer, it was just massively giving me like Sekiro Neo vibes. And I was like, this looks absolutely fantastic, because it was just giving me just that whole combat of like, you could know the red dot appearing where you can get like a kill shot as if from Neo and Sekiro. The fact that you can summon spirits just like in Neo, the different weapon systems, the atmosphere. I was like, this looks amazing. And then, as I said, it's by Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja. And I'm not someone who sort of really knows much about a lot of game companies, like apart from like I know a bit about From Software and Activision. So I did a quick Google of Team Ninja, and lo behold, the reason why I got such a stiffy for this game is because they're also the developers of Neo and Neo 2. But obviously, aside from that, they've also done Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden series. But straight away, as soon as I got those Neo vibes, I was just like, I really, really want this game. And that's set to release early March next year. So I will be picking that up probably on a day one release. And yeah, so that's the only sort of gaming related thing that's new that I've done. And aside from that, I've actually done some reading. I've started reading a little manga called Kaiju No. 8. And I'm only 3 chapters into it at the moment. So, because I only literally just started it yesterday this morning, actually. I think, no, it was last night, actually. And it's basically about a guy who basically operates as a monster attack cleanup crew, where a monster will come attack a city, and the defense force will come and destroy said monster. And then it's up to the cleanup crew to basically, clean up the remains of the monster, all its innards and everything. And the main guy basically works as a cleaner, and he was assigned to deal with like the intestines, which is full of like all the decaying flesh and everything. And he hates his job and he wants to become a member of the defense force. But you're no longer able to apply if you're over the age of 33. And he's 32 years old, so that resonates quite well with me, because I'm approaching 30. And he's hospitalized in an attack, and he then becomes a monster somehow. He swallows like a wasp, which turns him into a monster. He then becomes ridiculously overpowered and starts breaking the hospital by accident. Like, he goes to open a window, and he basically tears off the whole window frame. It's like, oh shit. And yeah, it's just so hilarious. The first 3 chapters I've read are so hilarious. The art looks amazing. The action looks amazing. But the one bit which really sort of like tickled me really well is he's running from the Imperial Defense Force because he's, a monster. And he's like, oh God, I've got to pee. My monster body's got to pee. I don't know how I'm going to pee. I'm going to pee somehow. He's like, oh, and then he wheezes. And he just pisses out his nipples. So he's just running and you just see this stream of piss coming out his nipples. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? So it's, from Scary Movie, when they see the aliens and they pee out their fingers. It just reminded me of the fact that he's just pissing out his nipples and his face of just utter euphoria as he's pissing. I was like, it's just given me such Gintama vibes based on the humor from that. I already know it's received quite well, everywhere, and I really can't wait for it to get animated.
Which is
whenever
year.
It does. When is it?
Next year.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's probably it's just tickled me in that right way as Chainsaw Man probably did for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to read more of Kaiju number 8. Like, I'm reading it here and there when I'm on the bus to and from work. And yeah, I will keep everyone updated on my adventures with Kaiju number 8. And it is a highly recommended read from me. As I said, I'm only 3 chapters into it, but those first 2 chapters were an absolute banger. Fucking hilarious.
Well, it sounds kind of on par with Great Expectations.
Not quite, but...
I'm sorry, I just remembered this. I'm sorry to butt in, but you asked why is Tunic called Tunic? Well,
yeah.
Another part of Tunic is that there are what are they called? Like those tuning
forks.
Yeah, is it tuning forks where you like hit them and they ring? There's a whole load of them. Fork. Yeah, and you like at the start you got to like hit them. 2 of them, so I've done 1, and so yeah, I think that's another part of why it might be called Tunic as well. Maybe
so you have to ring the 2 Tunic Forts of Awakening.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I know we're literally backtracked. My apologies.
That's right. I now feel slightly smarter.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm still dumb over it. I don't know.
Actually, you said you wanted to butt in. I want to butt in as well because I've just remembered something as well.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. It's not on the agenda. But I don't know how the fuck I forgot about this.
What's that?
Seeing as it's my main memo. I played the new Resident Evil 8 DLC.
How the fuck did you forget? How the fuck did you forget to mention that?
I don't know.
That's like...
I know, me and the Resident Evil guy. Oh, yeah, play Resident Evil, the new one.
That's like... yeah. Before you say anything about it, I've seen some gameplay of that DLC. Oh my gosh, that looks fucking frightening.
Yeah, if you're a wimp.
Okay. So, I am.
Yeah, fine.
No, how was it?
Alright, I've actually got mixed feelings on it. Gameplay-wise, yeah, it's Resident Evil 8. I quite like Resident Evil 8. You might remember it was my game of the year last year.
Was it? Wait. It's the Winter's DLC, isn't it?
The Winter's DLC, yes. So what the DLC actually adds, it actually adds 3 things. For the main campaign, it adds a third-person mode, so to make it feel a bit more like Resident Evil 4. It's a bit janky though, so it feels like that's really something they should have given you for free. Because the actual main game doesn't change at all. It's literally like just the camera angle. But some of it doesn't feel like it should be like that. It feels a bit cumbersome. It still didn't stop me from playing the entire game again, just in a different camera mode. And yeah, it is what it is. Second things it adds is when you beat the game, like as you might know in Resident Evil tradition, you get your mercenaries mode. and it essentially just gives you a couple of extra characters. What it doesn't tell you, though, is you don't get them straight away. You have to unlock them, which is a bit of a pisser. I thought they'd be ready to go straight from the get-go, but they aren't. And as of time of recording, I haven't actually played with them because even though I've finished the game, like got the platinum on like the on the PS4, I re-downloading it for my PS5, and it doesn't keep the save game data, so it's like starting from scratch. So I haven't got them, which is a pain. But the main course, I should say, is one called Shadows of Rose, which I was told was about a 4 to 5 hour campaign, and after playing it live and taking my time a bit, it actually took me about 3.5 hours to get through. The reason I say I've got mixed opinions on it is, though I really like the gameplay, I was very disappointed to discover that a lot of the areas, I'd say as much as like 95% of the DLC, are reused areas, which is very upsetting.
What, from the main game?
From the main campaign, yeah. So like, the first level is it does change the environment somewhat, but the maps are still the same. So you've got like the castle, you've got the dollhouse section. There's a couple of new bits, but I don't think it was enough to justify the price tag. I mean, the DLC, I'm right, it was £15. I don't think I really got my money's worth, if I'm brutally honest. I did like what they did. Like, the storyline is fine. Gives a bit more characters to like Ethan Winters, bit of backstory because you play as his daughter Rose. I'm not going to spoil what actually happens in it, but I don't know. It felt like me. I was wanting more. Like when I wrapped it up, it was like, are we doing this again? It was like, even when we got to like the first area, I was like, don't tell me this whole DLC is going to be like a carbon copy of the main game again, just slightly different. And yeah, it kind of was, which I think was a massive disappointment. I know some people were like really hyping it up, but I was thinking, have these people not played the main campaign? Did I not see this is just? Well, I hesitate to use filler. It's just like a copy paste. So yeah, but there's a new mechanic that Rose has, which allows you to essentially stun enemies and like slow them down so you can shoot them. But it also acts as a guard counter as well. And apart from a couple of places, I mostly just kept this power to use as a guard counter. Like, you know, like in like the Resi 2 remakes, like if you get caught, you can like stick a knife in them to get out of a grapple, that kind of thing. It essentially works the same.
Okay.
So I just kept it as a sort of get out of jail free card for my last playthrough anyway. And yeah, say it took me like 3.5 hours. If 3.5 hours of mostly recycled content sounds like okay for you, but if you're like me, you really like Resident Evil, then maybe you want to pay £15, but I would highly, highly suggest waiting for a price drop or just get like the gold edition that came out the same day. Yeah, and that's essentially my thoughts. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. Like, it's fine. Like I like the storylines. More Resident Evil is good Resident Evil, but I kind of wish I didn't pay full price for it.
That's a shame. Well, have they said if they're going to do any more DLC, or is that it?
I think that's it. Cause you got to think it came out like a year last February, and it took like essentially 18 months to put this together. Okay. And I'd say it has re-released as a gold edition. Now it's come out, and they've not added anything else. Whereas I think when 7 got the gold edition, that had like all the DLC, which had like 3 different lots. I think it had.
That's why I'm asking, because I thought 7 got quite a bit of DLC. That's why. Yeah,
it had like its own standalone campaign, and then it had like 2 other ones, which were essentially like 2 mini games and like 1 extra sort of mini campaign. But this feels like just like one of those, like one of the like you got your main campaign and then like 2 extra modes. Well, one's just like a camera change, but I don't think you're going to get any more. Besides, we got a Resident Evil 4 remake to look forward to.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I always play it near enough every day, but I haven't. I think the last time I spoke about it, I said I would do an update when they did a big update, and I think I haven't done an update in ages. So I thought I'd just update, I guess, on Bloons Tower Defense 6. Mainly because I've been playing it like more normal in the last month. So I think when I spoke about it last, I mentioned that they've been doing these basically like tier 6 towers that are called Paragons, and they only had 2 out at that time. Now there's 6. So there's been a big development. So they've now done the first 2 that I remember speaking about with the Dart Monkey and the Boomerang Monkey. And now I've done the Ninja Monkey, the Monkey Buccaneer, the Monkey Engineer, and the Monkey Ace, which is the plane. And these new 4 paragons are ridiculous, especially the Monkey Ace and the Monkey Buccaneer, which are ridiculous. The Engineer has had some flack, I know, because I think it's not a true paragon, but oh well, I guess. But it's still pretty cool. But no, it's like it's weird that this. I didn't realise that Ninja Kiwi, which I guess maybe I feel stupid for not realising, are a New Zealand company. That they're still been updating this game as much as they do, and I've now like properly like finished a whole load of maps now, and I'm still having a lot of fun playing it, and I've been like learning like new things that I didn't know that towers could do. Like there's the ice tower that its middle path can freeze water, and I did not realise this. So you can essentially put a whole load of middle path ice towers on water maps and just make water maps just land maps. Water maps, land maps. I was like, I was watching a video of someone do it, and I was like, wait, you can do this? It blew my mind. But no, I'm still having a lot of fun. They added 2 new bosses, so there's now 3 big boss balloons, which are all fucking difficult because I'm a fucking noob. But yeah, I'm still having a lot of fun playing it. That was all I was going to say. I didn't want to dwell on it too much. But I guess something I have. Wait, no. Chris, you play another game?
Yes, I have been a very busy boy. I've been very chatty today, haven't I? Yes, I played one more game. It is called Signalis. Okay, picture this. You're in the far future. You're an android. You're in a sort of snowy, futuristic kind of space station. I'm not quite sure on the details yet because I haven't finished it yet. And yes, if you are really, really itching for some classic survival horror like OG Resident Evil with like a 6-item inventory limit, limited ammo.
Oh, this game.
Yeah, except this one's more of a sort of top-down sort of view, not like complete like bird's eye view. But yes, the art style is really nice though. It's kind of like I don't know how you describe it. It kind of looks like minimalistic from a distance, but the more you zoom in, like everything's like really nicely detailed, like pixel art. There is a word to describe the aesthetic it uses, which I can't think of. It's kind of cyberpunk-ish, but like the technology used is like big reel-to-reel sort of technology. So it's kind of like 1970s computers, but far future. Yeah, I've played this for about 5 hours now, and I'm very much enjoying it. It's difficult, though. I've died a few times already. I've been very, very stingy with my ammo, but I've kind of needed to be. I've barely fired my weapons at all, and I'm glad I have because I'm still struggling with it. I'd say if you really like some of the inventory mechanics on Resident Evil, like say the original ones, then this might be for you. This might scratch that itch if you want harder difficulty. It has got a good sort of crushing atmosphere. Like a lot of it's dark by design. One of the key items you find like being a flashlight, so you can even see into rooms, and even then they're like dimly lit, but not so much so that you can't actually see what you're doing. Apart from some certain rooms which you need the flashlight to even look around in. Yes, the puzzles in it are not, I wouldn't say mind-bending, but tricky to work out. There was some like traditional, like use certain item with this, but then there's normally like a second step because a lot of things that you interact with, if like they're puzzle based, you kind of like go from your original view to like sort of zoomed in, sort of like more detailed view at what you're looking at, be it a computer, a microwave, a vent, that kind of thing. There's normally a second step to what you have to do, so it's not as simple as like just using an item. It's like, well, how do you use it? And there's a fun mechanic where you have a radio, and it's like a proper like shortwave one, where you have to tune into the exact frequency to solve certain puzzles. That being, some puzzles are like sound based, so you have to have like the right radio signal playing in order for things to transpire. There's a bit where, well, there's a couple of bits where I found where you need like a safe combination, and one of the frequencies is like broadcasting the safe combinations. But even then, you've still got to work out what they are. Like, you need to sort of translate them as it's in a sort of code. So yeah, the puzzles are actually quite intriguing. They do require you to use your brain somewhat, which I suppose would be frustrating if you just worked out a hard puzzle only for you to get slaughtered like a minute later. But once you know the solution, you're fine. But I could see that being an issue. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. Oh, and guess what? It's on Game Pass. So there you go.
Swear to God, we need to get you a T-shirt that just says "I'm on Game Pass."
Yeah, well, I'm also on PlayStation Plus as well. So, and I've got Steam. So
Steam Pass.
Steam Pass, yes. Although oddly enough, I barely used anything on like the PC stream because I play on console, because I'm console scum like that. Yeah, Signalis. I highly recommend it. I haven't finished it, so I can't say if it sticks the landing. But from what I've played, yeah, it's very good. If you want, like, as I say, want a traditional survival horror, give it a whirl.
Yeah, I think I heard a podcast speak about it. I think I know which one, and I think I was going to make a mental note of it, and I didn't. But I think it is Signalis. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I've not again, like I mentioned with Deathloop, I've not really heard anyone talk about it.
Well, I think it was the last episode that I spoke that I rewatched The Hobbits, hadn't I?
Yes.
Well, I've now rewatched all 3 Lord of the Rings extended as well.
Oh, who hasn't?
But this is now coming on the back of Rings of Power. Now, despite everything that Rings of Power has done, and I know we spoke about Rings of Power and our opinions and on people's opinions online, I would say one thing it has done when I rewatched Lord of the Rings, it made me appreciate some of the stuff in the films that I think I've just never realised. So like all the Numenor stuff, I think I just blanked it out because I was like, I have no idea what Numenor is. All this information means nothing to me, so I just blanked it out. And then it's like, now I've watched Rings of Power, it's just like, Numenor. Like, whoa. I did not realise that this was in these films as much as it is. And one thing it made me realise is the actual character arc that Aragorn has. I think I've never realised or never appreciated the character arc that Aragorn has in those films. It made me like understand the character he is, and I don't want to say it made me like him more. Not that I didn't like Aragorn. It's Aragorn, but it made me understand the kind of person that. The kind of character that Tolkien wrote in the first place. Whenever you watch Lord of the Rings, it's always a fun watch.
It's just one of those films which I can just always go back to and just be like, that was good.
Yep.
Same thing if I watch The Mummy, it's just one of those films I can just watch and be like, that was a good time.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic to rewatch them because the night I watched Fellowship of the Ring, which I think I'll go straight into this. I went to see the new One Piece film, and then I came straight home and then watched Fellowship of the Ring. So it was like near enough 6 hours of film watching. But yes, I have seen the new One Piece film. It is called One Piece Film Red. It is. I really enjoyed it. I've only seen 2 One Piece films. This is the second one. It's definitely better than the other one. The other one was fun, but the villain was a turd. And this one,
actual shit.
No, but he wasn't a turd. He wasn't a literal turd. But the writing for his character was shite.
Disappointing.
Oh my gosh, it was. It was is awful. But this new film, One Piece Film Red, it's all about a character called Uta, who is the daughter of red-haired Shanks, who is the character who gives Monkey D. Luffy his straw hat. To put it into context of how important Shanks is in One Piece, and he's just this character that is really powerful and just never really appears in One Piece. I think there's only been a couple of times he's actually appeared, except for the flashback. Otherwise, he mostly appears in flashbacks and he doesn't really do anything. But this film, it brought Shanks very much into the forefront, especially in the second half. The majority of this film was all about Uta, who has because in One Piece they have the power system related to fruits. So she eats a fruit called the Sing Sing fruit, and it puts people to sleep when she sings, and they get transported to a different world. And so it's kind of like a genjutsu from like Naruto. And it was all basically, she was basically gonna enslave the world in her Sing Sing world. And half the film is a musical. I'm not even gonna lie. I got there, and in like the first 20 minutes, there were at least 3 or 4 songs, like from there and then. It was, and the soundtrack's pretty good as well. And I had a good time with the majority of what One Piece films do. They just bring in as many characters as it can from One Piece, because One Piece has a ridiculous amount of characters.
Well, you think so after how long it's been going on for?
It is ridiculous. And there's like even the latest chapter, they're adding even more characters.
For fuck's sake.
It's ridiculous. But I had a really good time watching it. Music was great. Uta was a really good character. Although there were a few things that didn't work completely with her, but for the most part, she was really good. It was great to see Shanks actually do stuff instead of just being like, "Oh, Shanks, we hold him in high regard," and he just doesn't appear. And then when he appears, he's just like, "Yes, well done, Luffy," and that's it. It was actually pretty cool to see him fight, and for once, although I still think they purposely didn't show his whole arsenal for plot reasons. But it was a good film. Yeah. And what was funny, there was a post-credit scene, and I didn't realise this. I just stayed in the cinema. I was like, because when the credits rolled, it was like a what's it? I don't want to say a card. It was like it was a montage of like a whole lot of characters in the One Piece world, and so I was like, oh, this is pretty cool for the credits. And everyone in the cinema except me left on these credits. And everyone left, and then it had this post-credit scene, and I was the only person who watched this post-credit scene, and it was so funny. I was just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm the only person who's watching this post-credit scene.
It's a bit bad that everyone leaves.
I didn't even realise there was one. I was just like, well, the credits aren't just like a black screen with just the words on it. There are actual pictures. So it's not like, I guess, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe credits. It was more visually striking than them. But then everyone left, and then there was a post-credit scene, and I just laughed. I was like, I can't believe this has happened. It was funny.
Absolute win then.
But no, it was a good film. The first song in the film is probably my favourite, and I can't wait to rewatch that song, because just the animation that they did to that was incredible. I still picture it, and I'm like, I want to try and I just want to watch that song from the film, because they've done like a music video, but it's not the same. It's not that animation from the film. So. But no, it was a good film. But you've watched the film, haven't you, Brandon?
Nope.
Yes, you have.
I've not seen the One Piece film.
No, you've seen a film though. That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said I've seen the film. I was like, I ain't seen the One Piece film.
No, you haven't seen the One Piece film, but you've seen a film.
I have seen a film. Oh my God, I keep coughing every time I want to talk. So I was quite surprised we've actually not spoke about this yet on the podcast, because it's an oldish film, but it's the Wolf of Wall Street.
Great film.
So, have you guys seen Wolf of Wall Street? Surely you have.
Oh, great film.
Yeah. So, it's about a guy called Jordan Belmont, who is a
vampire
investor
hunter who goes to try and kill Dracula in Castlevania. I didn't even realise he was called Belmont, and then I just had to run with it.
I know, yeah. So,
Okay,
yeah, so No, that actually caught me off guard. I was like, did I say his name right? You made me come. I was like, pretty certain I wasn't talking about. But yeah.
What a terrible night to crash the stock market.
Yeah, on the night of Castlevania. But yeah, as I was saying, it's about Leonardo DiCaprio plays Jordan Belmont, who is an investor. So he works in a sleazy stock market and at first loses his job and then starts to work for like a penny stock market, getting a 50% commission on his stocks. And it's just basically about the sleazy life of a rich investor trying to secure his fortune with his other sleazy co-workers. And all they want to do is party, do drugs, and everything.
Which is based on a true story.
It's basically based on anyone who's rich, isn't it?
No, it's based on the actual person.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Did you not know his biography?
No.
Doesn't he appear at the end?
Yes, I believe he does.
Yeah.
But the bit that caught me off guard is because the film's from 2003,
No.
isn't it?
2013.
That's okay, 2013. But where it was set, and they were talking about Warren Buffett back then. I was like, Warren Buffett's like a mega rich, and he's only really sort of come to light in more of the recent times. And I'm sorry, I was just dropped something to pick it up. But I don't know what it is, but it's my second time watching it. And the main reason I wanted to watch it is because I recently like started to get interested in like stocks and shares and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll just probably watch The Wolf of Wall Street again, just because now that I have a bit of a better understanding of how the whole market works and everything. But part of me is just like, I wish it was like that in real life. Like you could just get rich like super quick doing like the stockbrokery stuff, but a lot of the stuff that did happen in it is illegal. So
it's all illegal.
Yeah, manipulating the market by having like an 85% share in the company. Yeah, but I don't know what it is, but I really enjoyed it. I've been craving to watch it for a few days. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch it. I couldn't remember it being like nearly 3 hours long when I first watched it. It's a really long film, but the bit that had me in stitches is when they right at the end, towards the end, where they start like taking the Quaaludes and like the lemon ones, and they're like trying to dose, and they're like, oh, they're not working. They keep dosing up and dosing up, and then all of a sudden, like when it's too late, it just hits him, and he just basically starts drooling everything, like trying to get the phone off his friend because they're bugged and everything. I was just the acting on that when he overdosed. Like there were really long, like panned out scenes of him just struggling to get into the car, drive the car, tried to get the phone off him. I don't know how you guys felt about the film, but I just there's just something charming about it. And I'm not obviously talking about the big old biddies that are everywhere in it.
Honestly, it wasn't really for me. I found it was pretty dull. It really felt like 3 hours. It felt longer than that to me.
I just enjoyed it because like I said, I've recently started learning more about in like investing and finance and stuff like that, and it was just interesting to see, sort of get an idea of what it was like, when it was set, like all the paper sheets and the ordering and how the stock market works.
Mm-hmm. I remember really enjoying the film. I've only seen it once. Maybe I need to rewatch it, but I can't remember I can't remember loads of it. I think the big scene is when he's like on drugs. He's trying to like drive, and it's that I was dying of laughter watching.
Yeah, that was hilarious. For like him trying to drive while on the drugs. But as I said, it's just really like all the sleazy bits, and like when he's in the airplane and he's like just completely giggling out, and then he ends up having to get strapped to the chair because of harassing the air staff. It's just like the slapstick moments like that were really funny. But when you think about it, like if that was to happen in real life outside of the film, you would be like, that's pretty disgusting.
Well, it happened.
Yeah, it actually happened, and it still happens. Like people get mega rich, they abuse their power. And people try to do whatever they can to keep their fortunes. But anyway, apart from like obviously going on the morally high chair about this, really, really enjoy it. If you just want to, I say quick laugh, it's 3 hours. If you want to laugh,
quick laugh, yeah, 3 hours later, there you go.
Yeah, 3 hours later. Basically as long as an anime, really. Well, a 9-episode anime.
Yeah, Chris knows all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've watched one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a film, innit? Watch it.
That's the review, everyone. It's just a film, innit?
So it's just life, innit?
Yeah. Actually, I was quite sold on your One Piece. It's like, what, a musical about how a man got his hat? That sounds fucking gold, that does. That sounds like a script like The Simpsons were writing about.
Well, it's to put it simply, what that One Piece film read, it's like the end, like it's what basically Madara from Naruto is trying to do, but in One Piece by a girl singing. It's literally like the plot of the end of Naruto, but let's do it as a musical.
That would make the end of Naruto very different. Oh, actually, speaking of that, have you seen the clip of like the actual voice actor for Madara?
Yeah.
Like, he's he does opera, right?
Oh no, I don't know that.
Yeah, so he's actually done like Disney songs before.
Oh, okay.
And there's a video of of the actual guy singing, and they've dubbed it over Madara trying to take on the joint army, like the joint cooperation group
Right.
thingy, and it was fucking hilarious because there's this bit where Madara's like oh, and it's the bit where Naruto's standing there like twitching his eye. It's fucking hilarious. You need to see it. It's so funny.
I have watched one more thing, and I know we have a topic. I'm looking at time, and I'm like, shit, we haven't even started this topic. Last thing I have watched the season 4 of The Dragon Prince. I don't know if either of you know The Dragon Prince or have watched it.
It's a show, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is a cartoon on Netflix.
See, do go on.
To why, I guess the thing that's relevant about it is it has one of the main writers of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because there's two writers of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and one of them has co-written The Dragon Prince. And after 3 years, season 4 came out the other week. I literally binged it in a night, and it's good. I think the third season was better, but that was like the first 3 seasons were built up to something, and now they're like rebuilding. It's now like the next big arc. So it was nice to see all the characters again. It was nice to enjoy the show and enjoy that world again. And I can't wait to wait who knows how many years for season 5. But it was good to watch it again. If you've not watched The Dragon Prince, I'd recommend it. If you're a big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you want more that isn't Avatar, and you've watched like Korra, Dragon Prince is the perfect thing to watch. It's got the main character. Well, one of the main characters he's voiced by the guy who plays Sokka in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So it's got him, that voice actor, back. It's good. I would say that the main elf character, her voice is slightly, I don't know, it's a little annoying, but I don't know, I've grown to love it in a weird way. But no, it's a fun medieval fantasy show, and if you like Avatar: Last Airbender, it's a perfect show to watch. But we have a topic we wanted to talk about.
You sure did.
To things.
I thought maybe this would have been better coming off of the back of One Piece Film Red, but oh well.
We tried.
Oh well. Yes, we wanted to talk about music again, but not video game music.
Oh, music. I don't really know how you guys want to start this.
Okay. I'll make it easy for you. So, what I was thinking about talking about some newer music, because one, we realised we haven't really spoken about music at all this year. And considering we'll come to like our end of year, and we like normally choose like our favourite albums, that kind of thing, we've not actually discussed any at all. But I was recently in a music video. So okay, yeah. So my good old buddies, Internal Conflict, released a single for their song Kingdom of Apathy off the Vaporia album, and yours truly is in it for about 5 frames, but I'm still in it, damn it. So
what is the music? What happens in the music video?
It's your standard. They filmed the gig, but it's edited down nicely, so it looks all lovely. You get a lovely view of Firebug.
I was about to say where was it? Okay.
Yeah. It's just a local show, but they are Leicester based, so it hits home for them quite literally. But, yeah, it was good. It was a good time. It's a good time to be there. So yes, but this got me thinking, like, well, music videos. Surely that's going to segue nicely into talking about music, and we've done it with some degree of success. So, music. Who wants to start? So we're thinking, like, what's come out this year that we've been listening to? What newer stuff have we been shoving in our ear holes? I know Dan's the expert on this, because you said you've listened to like 900 albums or so this year.
As of right now, I've listened to, because I've just added another 2 today, as of time of recording, I've listened to 897 albums.
How the hell do you find the time?
Released in 2022. Work, because at work I listen to music, and so
You can get away with it then.
yeah, I just put in my well, now it's my Bluetooth headphones, but I just put in my headphones and put my ear defenders on, and away I go. Just work on my machines and.
You're playing music through your ear defenders.
No. I have earplugs. I have my headphones on, then I put ear defenders over my.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they're blocking out all the outside sounds, so literally all you can hear is just your music. That's genius.
Well, it's a loud place, and so it's like I'm not gonna listen to like just the excess sounds of machines. I will, if I can listen to my own music, I can. Like, I'm not the only one. My a whole load of people on the shop floor do it, so it's not just me.
Yeah, if you're gonna go deaf at work, you may as well do it on your own terms.
So I need to book a doctor's appointment over my ears, and I'm getting my ears
deaf?
and I'm getting my ears cleaned this week.
Well, that sounds fun.
I'm literally after we finish recording, I need to put drops in my ears.
So, what specific albums have you been listening to that stood out to you that are making you go deaf?
Well, my favourite album this year, and it's been my favourite album this year since February, when it was released, is the 6th album by Rolo Tomasi. Called...
I have heard of those.
Come out and say Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, that Kendrick Lamar album is fucking amazing, though. The Rolo Tomasi album is called When Myth Becomes Memory, and it is incredible. It's not as good as their 5th album. I have to say that, but it's my second favorite album by Rolo. Their 5th album is my favorite album of all time. It's my second favorite album of all time. Sorry, and it's my favorite album of last decade. So I knew their 6th album could not compare to the 5th. But the 6th album is incredible, and the website I use to find music, it's currently at number 16 in the on their top albums. So that's how highly rated and highly regarded it is critically as well. But yeah, they're a metal band, a metalcore. I don't know if they're metalcore, but like mathcore, metalcore. Band.
Sounds metalcore to me, but I've never really given Rolo Tomasi a go, so I'm just literally flicking through Where Myth Becomes Memory, and it's pleasing my ear holes.
Oh, like I said, their 5th album.
Do Your Eternity, what? At the end of eternity, oh fuck's sake.
Their 5th album, Time Will Die and Love Will Bury It, I think is better. But When Myth Becomes Memory is the second best album they've done. But I like all their albums. But so yeah, there's my favourite album of this year, which I don't think is going to change.
Now,
What about you, Brendan?
For me, I don't really go out my way to say listen to albums, but every now and then, so I go onto Spotify and I've got the Kick-Ass Metal playlist, and I'll just flick through just to have a listen to what's on there. And there's a little band which I've never heard of called Eyes Wide Open, which appeared on there, and I gave a couple of their songs a listen, and it was pleasing to the snail bone in my ears. So the songs in particular which I really took a fancy to is Cross My Heart and Black Clover. Like, let me just see what years they released it. So Cross My Heart came out, that's this year, 2022, and that was I really, really enjoyed that. And then Black Clover, I think, is one of their older ones. So the Upside Down, 2019. So that's roughly when they were getting started.
Like it was they were added for the deluxe edition, so yeah, it would be this year.
Yeah, so I've been listening to those. I've been really enjoying those.
I'm gonna add that.
In terms of other bands which I've sort of discovered this year, I think the one which I've discovered the most, and that's Pale Dusk. Really been enjoying their stuff. So they're like think of like Crystal Lake, but they sort of diversify their genre quite a lot. So like more like that gent style, music, and with a bit more synth and electronics like sort of nabbed in there. And then they'll have some random bits, but all of a sudden it might go slightly reggae, and then it goes back to like deathcore. And it's like, ooh, that's pleasing. Just having a look if there's any other albums. But I think my favourite album so far this year is the new Motionless in White album.
Oh, that
Scoring the End of the World.
Actually quite good.
I've been really enjoying that album, like absolute banger.
It's got Mick Gordon on, who did the Doom and Doom Eternal soundtracks. He's on it for one song though.
Yes.
Oh, have you seen the rebuttal that Mick Gordon's had?
Yep.
With,
Yep. That's fucking shit. Like, I can't, it's bad to be like, I'm kind of not surprised that, they've done that to him, but, he should be paid, like, what he's worth, like, for his work, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I had no idea this was going on because
I think it's
well,
only, sorry.
no, carry on.
I think it's only Doom Eternal. I don't think it's was Doom.
Oh,
from what
yeah,
I-
it is just Eternal.
Yeah.
More specifically, there's the soundtrack that's separate to the video game score. If you don't know what we're talking about, folks, basically, one of the producers of Doom Eternal did a Reddit post and said there was like behind the scenes trouble with like the Doom Eternal soundtrack, to which very recently, like literally just a couple of days after recording, before recording, sorry, Mick Gordon, the composer for said music, basically did a self-defense post, but he's got all the receipts, he's said everything, and it looks really damning on Bethesda's part, and yeah, it's quite the controversy at the moment. We're going to see how it pans out, what comes of this. But yeah, it's a shame really, because I bloody love me some Mick Gordon, like his soundtrack to like the first Doom game, the Wolfenstein series as well, was bloody excellent.
Do you know the band Monuments?
I do. Well, I know of them.
He does quite a bit with them. He's done quite a few songs with that band. Like on their new album that came out this year, he's on 2 of the songs on the album. But I think he's done quite a bit with them. I think, yeah. I don't know, like, there's been, having listened to so many albums this year, there have been a whole load that I've really enjoyed. Like, so far, like, I'm trying to, like, sort, like, a top 10 out. Except for Rolo, I'm not really sure what's in it, but I've really enjoyed the Rina Sawanya album. So I'm not going to say her surname right, but her second album came out this year, and that was incredible. I remember listening to it on the way back from Scotland, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this album is so good. New Kendrick Lamar album is great. New Taylor Swift album is great. I really like the new Avril Lavigne album. I think it's been the album I've been wanting since she released her third album. So I've been waiting over 10 years for this album, and I enjoyed it so much. There's a band called Dayseekers. They released their new album the other week. The day it came out, I listened to it 4 times, and I haven't done that in a long, long time. And it's like a metal album influenced by like 80s synth wave. It's such a good album. I recommended it to one of mine and Brandon's close friends, and he listened to one of the songs called Paper Hearts, and he just said to me, Dan, the lyrics in this song are incredible. So there's been a whole load of really good albums this year from a multitude of genres.
But you, Chris, what have you been listening to?
Well, I tend to just like listen to like the same artists I've been listening to for like the majority of my years. So I haven't really listened to any new artists this year, or I've not really had any suggested to me. And to be honest, I don't listen to as much music as I used to, because I work quite a lot now, and I can't listen to music at work. The only time I really get to listen to music is when I'm going to and from to my main job, which is a 40-minute journey each way, give or take. And that's like literally my only window to really plug in some music. So God, I can listen to like a short album if I'm lucky, going each way. But well, I say 2 because there's literally 2 albums I've been listening to this year, and that's Korn's latest offering, the Requiem album, and the latest one from Lamb of God, the Omens album, which is, yeah, both of them I've really enjoyed. Like, the thing about a band like Lamb of God is they've never really changed their style, like ever. They've just been consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get, and what they do is really good, so keep it as it is, and that's fine. They write really strong hooks. The riffs are great. Of note, the 2 tracks that I've really enjoyed are like the title track Omens and Ditch. I've very much enjoyed. They're the ones you can sort of imagine being played at proper festival events and getting the crowd chanting along. They're that kind of those types of songs. Like a chorus that repeats themselves a little bit, but they're still catchy as fuck. regardless. And as for Korn's Requiem, well, the whole thing's solid, but my 2 tracks of choice, thankfully I think of like back to back, Let Dart Do the Rest, which was a single, followed by Start the Healing, which is incredibly catchy. I was singing that for weeks after it came out. But that was quite a while ago. That came out in February. Damn. But honestly, they're the only 2 albums I've really listened to. Unless, of course, you count the Shredder's Revenge OST, which is, frankly, album of the year every year forever. No,
I've
that soundtrack's really
realized
good.
I've listened to some other stuff, which I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just like, yep, I'm very glad I listened to that. Have you ever heard of a band called Bloodywood?
Nope, I bloody well haven't.
They're really good.
So basically, they're an Indian like death metal band.
Oh, like Bollywood, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so they're called Bloodywood, and again on the kick-ass metal playlist, I was just listening to random shit, and then all of a sudden their song Gadar played, and I was like, "Ooh, I like this," and it went ding a ding a ding a ding a ding a ding, and then all of a sudden it was like really heavy. I was like, "Ooh."
They're playing
Like, I was
down next
literally
year.
I know that's one thing. That's another reason why I saw them. I noticed it yesterday actually that a Bloodywood were playing. I was like, "Oh, I really want everyone to go," because obviously living in Leicester, like we've got a really strong sort of like Indian heritage like around us, and obviously I work with quite a few Indian people, and if I do see Bloodywood, I want to get like a solid video of them and show it to them, just to be like, I've listened to Indian music, are you proud of me? And then show them Bloodywood, and they'll probably think differently of me.
Probably tell you to leave the dressing room.
They're like, what have you done, Brandon?
It's like, who the hell are you?
And then I think the other most important album, which I've sort of listened to, is the Bad Omens album, Death of Peace of Mind. Really been enjoying that.
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I like the Bad Omens album too.
Yeah, it's just like it's a lot more mellow than what they've previously done. Like it's like they're getting, like what Bring Me the Horizon done. They're sort of maturing their flavor and sort of giving them that distinctive, like Noah, the maid singer, went from being this long-haired, sounds like Oliver Sykes thing, to now sort of starting to establish his own little identity at last, if you know what I mean. Because when like Bring Me the Horizon were first starting to step away from like the deathcore stuff, that's when Bad Omens really sort of got traction, because like they're like, hang on a minute, this guy sounds literally like Oliver Sykes. But now like they've basically been releasing an album every year for a few years now. So they've probably made enough songs to actually start to sort of find their sort of own niche, and whatever it is, I'm liking it.
I need to give it another listen, that Bad Omens album. I guess on like just some other albums that I've really enjoyed this year. The new, I love all her albums, but the new Charlie XCX album, Crash, is really good. The new, the debut album by Static Dress is really good, and the new Alexis on Fire album, Otherness, that's really good. And what another album I've been really enjoying, I think it came out in January, is the latest Haruka Utada album, called Bad Mode. She's done a whole load of, I think she did the theme song to Kingdom Hearts 3, and she's done a whole load of anime songs. So I think she did the theme song to like the latest Neon Genesis Evangelion film, or the last one. She also does the theme song to Your Eternity, Brandon.
I sort of got a lot from that. Oh yeah, the One Last Kiss is from
that's from Neon Genesis.
Neon Genesis,
And then
yeah.
Pink Blood is from To Your Eternity, and then Face My Fears is from Kingdom Hearts 3. But no, her latest album, Bad Mode, is incredible. That might be like in my top 10, I think. But no, there's been so many really good albums of like so many genres this year. An album, I mean, this is the last album I'm going to mention, but I listened to an album called Past Lives by L.S. Dunes, and that might be an album worth checking out, boys. Mainly because it's a supergroup, and I listened to it. I didn't even realise who was in the band, but it's got Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance in. It's got a guitarist from Cody and Cambria. It's got the vocalist from Circa Survive. It's got the bassist from Thursday and the drummer from Thursday. And their debut album, Past Lives, is really good. Now, it's been out. Loads of good music, and I will continue to listen to more until,
There you go, Death on the Shop Floor.
hopefully not.
I've just realised I've got a playlist called Discover Weekly. I've never paid any attention to it, and I'm wondering right now why.
I kind of have no words.
I've literally been ignoring this place for so long because I thought it was something that I made,
No,
I don't know, back when I was at university. I've just opened it. I'm just like, what?
no, it's a Spotify playlist.
I know. I'm just like, ooh.
I never look at mine because half of the stuff I've just put it on, and half of the stuff I've already listened to, or it's bands I already know. And it's just like, oh, here's a new song by them. Like, I kind of don't care.
Sorry, I've just opened up my Discover Weekly playlist, and then one of the options on there is the rumbling. Oh my god!
Half of mine.
But there's a few bands on here which I have heard. And, this is different. I don't know. I need to give this playlist a bit more of a go.
I will say, I think it's my most played song. I will tell you what I think might be my most played song of the year, and well, it's either that or it's, well, I would say, okay, what I think is my most played song released this year, because I think I know what might be my most played song of the year, but my most played song released in this year is Stars in the Sky by Kid Cudi from the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 film.
Right, I'm just looking at my recent playlist. I think probably my most played song for this year, I think it might be The Death of Peace of Mind by Bad Omens. Yeah, I think that's what it is going to be.
Well, it's either that or my most played song this year when I get that Spotify rap is I Really Want to Stay at Your House from Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Anyway, I think that might be it for our episode. Definitely a longer one than we normally do. As always, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can check out these two streaming on Twitch and their social medias as well, Instagram, Facebook.
I need to use Instagram more. I'm useless.
Chris has a Discord.
Use Twitter less.
Yeah, and you'll hear us again in 2 weeks. Unless anything you guys have got more to say.
No.
Just a once, isn't it?
This is normally the part of the episode we go, oh wait, I've forgot about the main topip we're going to talk about. I completely forgot.
We spoke about Skull and Bones.
I still can't believe I nearly forgot about Resident Evil.
I'm kidding.
Oh, well. Well, next episode, we will be talking about the new Pokemon.
Damn right, yeah. I've got it coming on Friday.
Yeah, same. I've got Pokemon Scarlet.
I've got Pokemon Violet.
So you'll hear both sides of that. I will actually pick up Pokemon Legends Arceus since I have not played it yet. So
yeah, it should. It's alright.
I will make sure I play that before we do our Game of the Year.
Just put time in your schedule to listen to like 3 hours of them talk about Potato Market and you'll be fine.
Right. You'll hear us again in 2 weeks. Be safe, and we love you always. Bye.
We love you.
Bye.